Hey there, welcome back, Duck fans. It's me again, Jhop, wearing my Nike pickleball shirt. Although I'm not sure I should be wearing it because I haven't played in like over a month because of the weather. So I need to get back out on the courts and break off the rust. Anyways, enough of that. I know you guys don't want to hear about pickleball. You want to hear about the Ducks. Uh, Not a ton going on this weekend. Coaches were out on the road, didn't have any visitors on campus, but they will get a crack at Washington cornerback transfer Jabbar Muhammad, who did visit Texas and Alabama last week and over the weekend. So I think the big news there, as I'm recording this, it's Monday. He hasn't committed anywhere. If you're Oregon, you're getting the last visit. It looks like you're going to get the last visit. So right now, obviously, it's the key that he didn't make a decision anywhere, and you're going to get a chance to host him. So great news for the Ducks. We'll see what happens there. I still think I like Oregon for Muhammad. It's going to be really close. I think Texas is going to be the biggest threat, not Bama, but I still think I like where Oregon sits for Muhammad. So we'll see how that visit transpires. Speaking of visits, okay, we'll get into it more as the week goes on, but Oregon is expected to have its first big visit weekend of 2024, kind of a quote unquote junior day. We will be continuing to confirm those visits and check out who's going to be on campus. Probably, say like Thursday, maybe Friday, we'll have a pretty good list of expected visitors. Of course, these are unofficial visits, so those plans can easily change, right? You could have somebody set to come out on Monday, and by Thursday, something could have come up that prevents them from making the trip. So we'll be a little cautious there and try to confirm, but wait until later this week to produce a big list. One of the more interesting stories that I read today, or that I at least passed along on the board, not everybody might have saw it, but the list that 24/7 made of first year of head coaches with their chance to win their first national championship, and they ranked them. At number one was Ryan Day on this list. I believe it was Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports. He had Ryan Day at number one, Steve Sarkisian at number two, Dan Lanning at number three. I think that's a solid three. You can't go wrong with any of those names. I could nitpick, and I think you could move Lanning ahead of Sarkisian, although it's probably razor thin. Both have talented rosters that are returning. Two very good teams that I expect to be competing in the playoff. Things look really good for Oregon. It's great to see Lanning on a list like that, and with what Ryan Day and Ohio State have done here in the last week or so on the recruiting trail, hard not to argue that Ohio State's going to be a contender too. So as we wait for the Jim Harbaugh news, although he's reportedly going to visit the Chargers and meet with them a second time this week, you got to wonder what that means for Michigan, but you got to like where Ohio State is. Good list. Touching on it briefly here, Oregon women's basketball suffers losses to Cal and Stanford this past week. Been a tough year for the women's basketball team, so those two losses didn't help by any means. Oregon men basketball did lose two this week, Colorado and Utah. Those were two pretty tough losses, although the team always struggles going to Boulder and playing there for whatever reason. It's got the vortex, voodoo, something or other that Oregon just cannot win in Boulder, and didn't get it done again this year. The Utah game was much closer, 3-point game. Oregon had some chances there late to, at least tie it up potentially and maybe push for overtime, but who knows? Still a fun team. Men's basketball's got a shot here, but really is getting to a point where they need to win way more than they lose to kind of make some noise. So we'll see what Dana Altman can align. And I will be back again this week with more on the ScoopDuck Daily. Thank you all.